Yow. Yo. What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Dashing. We back for another Draft League content. It's been a long time since we've done one of these, and I have been sort of retired from Mons for a while, but we kinda get that itch when we see like the new Mons for Gen 9. So we are entering some sort of a Natdex, right? Some national decks format, which I find very interesting because of the actual format. As you can see here, this is the format. We draft 10 mons and then we have an option for an extra. The extra is basically we get to choose between Z moves, max mode, or terraforms. So the way it works is we all have 120 points to pick our mons, and if we have extra points, we can purchase one of the extras. It's still subject to change and all that. You can make trades here and there, and shuffle the points anywhere you want. So certain things, because obviously max mode is going to be very overpowered here. The point system for it is it's 5 points for Z move, 10 points for terraforms, and 20 points for max mode. So that's a big chunk of points for having a mon go max. And there's a limitation wherein you can only max like mons that's 10 points and under. And there's an added limitation where you can't use a setup move before you max. So you can't have, let's say, a Gyarados that goes Dragon Dance before you max. You can Dragon Dance after the max, but not before. Something like that, just to keep things a bit balanced. And it's going to be interesting to see what the players prioritize. Do they go Terra? Do they go Z? Do they go max? So without further ado, we'll start with our first pick. Our first pick is Darkrai. Holy shit. This mon, right? I got it for 20 points. There were other, mons that's somewhat in the Uber tier if you look at the showdown perspective. But I was able to get Darkrai as my first pick. It's a mon I always wanted to try. It's not that OP in this format, just because if you look at Darkrai, it's basically a special Weavile, right? Same speed tier, a little better bulk, right? Significantly better bulk. And being a mono dark type does mean that you're not gonna die to a single Mach Punch, right? Resisting Sucker Punch is always good. Amazing speed tier 125. You do kind of lose to mons with 130 though, like Coco and stuff like that. Also a key ability, Bad Dreams, if someone wants to try some kind of rest stock set. We do get chip on that, or even something like Dondozo, right, which is very popular for its rest set. We can just switch in on the rest and then get extra chip on it. Yeah, that's basically it for Darkrai. Our next pick is gonna be Great Tusk, because I wanted some kind of a bulky mon that has like potential to do damage as well. And Great Tusk was surprisingly still available after the second pick. The other players went for like Blazikens and Dragapults and such, Megalatis, stuff like that. So we're able to get like Great Tusk. Amazing stats, right? Particularly on the physical side, 131 attack and defense, 115 HP, and pretty good speed stat in 87, just because you can take advantage of the spin, and this is going to be your dedicated spinner most of the time. Somewhere down the line, I will get another rocker just in case I want to have Great Tusk fulfill a role that's, doesn't include being a rocker. That added coverage slot can be important in a particular matchup. Also, if we play someone that has some kind of max mode where they set up Sun, right? If it's a Sun team, but they don't have like Torkoal and stuff, they have like Chlorophyll Mons, and they set up the Sun using max mode, we do have photosynthesis to make sure that, with the most likely the added attack is gonna OHKO them For sure, for sure. Our next mon is gonna be Skeledirge, because when I was looking at the team so far, I'm like, okay, we're kinda weak to fighting with Darkrai. We're kinda weak to Fairy for Darkrai and Tusk. So let's actually get a ghost type, right? A ghost type with fire. Just so that, they can't really use fighting on Darkrai and we resist the fairy move, because since both are, weak to fairy. Amazing stats, just amazing stats. And we're probably gonna run like unaware 99% of the time. Scratch that. 100% of the time we are running unaware. It's just crazy that this mon has like crazy bulk, more bulk than Clef, right? Just because of like the raw stats. If anything, it's gonna be limited by running boots just to be safe. Although we could run boots on Tusk as well to remove rocks and have, Skeledirge do maybe a Dark Resist Berry or a Ghost Resist Berry, stuff like that. And this 110 special attack isn't really that bad at all, especially with the signature move being able to raise special attack. That's great. Very good mon for only 14 points. That's something we definitely wanted to scoop up. Now looking at the team here, Darkrai, Tusk, and Skeledirge. Darkrai is kinda okay now since we have like 2 checks to it, right? Tusk can like block the Mach Punch, Skeledirge immune to like the fighting, and Skeledirge does counter like the fairy move. We are kind of getting weak to water though, since Skeledirge and Tusk are both weak. So our next pick was gonna be Superior. We have our water resist now, and a very good electric resist as well, because electric was looking to be pretty good since we only have Tusk so far. So Serp, another potentially bulky mon with a really good speed tier. So far, Darkrai and Superior are good speed tiers. Tusk is like a quote speed tier as well, just because one spin and then you're there, right? You're already outspeeding mons like maybe base 120. I would assume. I think if you do a spin, you can outspeed like Iron Valiant if they don't have like Scarf or Energy Booster. A number of sets you can run with this mon. You could run the rare physical set with SD. Probably not gonna do that, but it's an option if we come across some kind of a Chansey or Blissey. You could run the Subseed set. Contrary for the, what do you call that move? Leaf Storm Contrary. Just an amazing mon, especially with like hacks as well. Glare, right? Glare's always a problem. That's gonna do it for Superior. Good value too for 13 points. Our next mon is gonna be Slowking. Holy shit. This mon won as a championship. So it's definitely something I was looking into, getting at least one regenerator mon. Spidef bulky, right? We already have Tusk, which is our physical wall. Skeledirge can kinda wall both, but it kinda prefers, I think, physical. Slowking is gonna be our Spidef wall. Actually, now that I think of it, Tusk, Skeledirge, Serp, and Slowking are pretty bulky mons, right? They're bulky mons that can threaten on the offensive side as well. So this is a really strong team so far. Also having a slow mon for a change to, possibly counteract any Trick Room shenanigans. We are looking weak to Trick Room at that point. Although, we do have ways around that with like Glare and, other status moves. So yeah, we're probably gonna run regen like 100% of the time here. Unless we're running like a full Trick Room team, right? For us to like reverse Trick Room with Oblivious if ever they want to taunt us or something. But that's very out there, right? We're not playing against players that have that ideas. So our next mon is gonna be Graphia. I didn't even know about this mon just recently when I was helping someone else with their mock battles. Having Prankster and Unburden Those are pretty good options just because, you know, Prankster's always annoying to play against. The stats are not that bad. Not that bad. 110 for attack and speed. That's gonna be another speed tier for us. And just having Unburden, you could do like berry sets and then outspeed the whole team. Being a dark type as well. I think this is a dark type, right? Means that you are immune to Prankster yourself. So if you can get the mons in a certain range, you can just sweep with it. And if they have like a Prankster mon as their answer, they can only set up screens. They can T-Wave or Willow or something like that. So that's hella good, hella good. It also gets support moves like what do you call that move? Parting shot. It gets parting shot. I think as of that moment we lacked pivot on the team. Our only pivot was like Slowking with teleport. So I wanted like a pivot mon. And Graphia for only 6 points is hella value. That is hella value. So we definitely prioritize that. I was kind of afraid someone was going to pick it up, but you know, they kind of had other ideas. So yeah. Our next pick is going to be Bronzong. Good mon. Just a good mon to have. Our dedicated steel type. We don't have a steel type yet. And this is another mon I've used before and I can't complain. The guy does the work. He does the work for sure. Can set up rocks. Has access to like metal sound, some shenanigans, psychic, dual stab, rock moves for like those flying fire types. You can even run heat proof to like bait out the fire type and, you know, just bop them with like a rock move. Yeah, I have thoughts of doing something like a weakness policy set, right? If ever I'm facing, let's say, a Moltres, he goes for like mystical fire or something like that. We take it because of the heat proof, get our boost, go for like a rock slide, and then we bop it right there. So those are possible sets that we may or may not run. Just giving, you know, whoever watches this, the other competitors, some ideas on, you know, beware, right? Beware. Also having like the steel type is really good because, you know, it's our first dragon resist. We don't really have a dragon resist and an extra fairy resist as well. So if you look at the team, so many bulky mons, right? Tusk, Skeledirge, Serp, Slowking, Bronzong. Bronzong also adding to a possible levitate build. We get the ground immunity, so you don't really have like a free EQ versus the team, right? We already had Serp for like a ground resist, but now we have a ground immunity. It just makes Skeledirge even safer that way. 11 points seems, you know, a bit pricey, but I'd say it's worth it. Bronzong definitely does the work. Our next pick is gonna be Scyther. So I kind of wanted a mon that can... It's actually mostly for pivot. I wanted a mon that had like a strong pivot move. And I was thinking, well, why don't we get Scyther? Because it's another ground immunity. And it doesn't rely on something like an ability. So even if they have something like Mold Breaker, we still get the immunity. It's a fighting resist. Because we kind of need fighting resists, right? Our fighting resist so far was Slowking and Skeledirge, right? And Slowking, if it's like a close combat from a boosted, you know, Mega Medicham or something like that, it's not really gonna take that really well. But you know, if they go for like a CC, we switch Scyther in, it's a quad resist, we outspeed the next turn, we can just go for a U-turn or, you know, go for like the dual wing beat, stuff like that. 105 speed does mean that we outspeed that crucial 100 mark, and it's just a nice U-turn mon to have. Especially down the line if we do make changes and we have potential for like Terra, right? That could be very effective as well. Our second to the last mon is gonna be Thievel. So we were definitely running out of points at this point. I wanted to try out Thievel because I'm intrigued by the stakeout ability, but also because he has Unburden. Unburden is one of those moves as well that, you know, may come in handy when we face the teams that run max mons, because they're gonna be boosting up their speed, right? They're gonna boosting up their speed and try to sweep the whole team. And if our other mons are down for the count or he has coverage for them, we could run some kind of an endure set, right? And activate Unburden, outspeed them, right? It really depends on how those are gonna play out. And if they're within range, you know, 85 special attack isn't really much, but we do get some decent coverage with that. It's one of the best ones you can get for 5 points, if I'm being honest. Alright, and our last pick is gonna be Marsh Stomp. So this is actually a fire resist, because we don't really have much of those, right? We have Slowking, but, you know, Slowking could be vulnerable to electricity or to electric moves. I thought Marsh Stomp could be cool because we already have Scyther, right? Like, how many grass resists do we have? Scyther, Bronzong, Skeledirge, Superior, right? No one's gonna want to bring a grass move versus this mon, and it's our budget Eviolite mon. And also, as I said earlier in the video, I wanted another rocker. So we have a decent amount of hazards now. Marsh Stomp gets rocks, Bronzong gets rocks, right? Raytusk, removal, right? Serp gets defog, Scyther gets defog, Tusk gets spin. So the team is looking really well balanced here. If anything, the only downside is our dragon resist is only the Bronzong. But even then, right? Even then, we could easily run, if it's physical, Skeledirge can check that. If it's special, Skeledirge can check that, as well as an AV Slowking, stuff like that. And with our remaining 5 points, we have the Z move. We go for the Z Crystal. So it's going to be interesting how we match up versus Max Mode as well as Terra. The thing is, there are limitations with the Max Mode, right? You can only max a certain tier. We know which mon is going to max. With regards to Terra, we don't know which mon is going to Terra, but we find out the mon and the Terra type during team preview, and that's really gonna help us there. For the Z Crystal, it could be anything. Anything can have like the Z Crystal. So I kinda like the option that anything can just blow something up, right? Z Fighting with Dusk, Z Dark with Darkrai, Z Ghost with Skeledirge, you know, stuff like that. We can have a lot of fun with that. So that's gonna be the draft team analysis. I hope you guys had enjoyed this video, and in the next upload we're just gonna take on our week 1 opponent. If you guys like the content, like, comment, subscribe. If you want to support your boy even more, links to Patreon down in the description. I'll see you guys on the next one. Cheers.